Hello, good morning, everyone. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition. Of course, this is our October edition of Nigeria Youth and Road to COP27. You're all welcome. And of course, it's our last edition as towards we're approaching COP27. It should be 9 days from today. And of course, I hope to see everybody there, participating and, taking part in the decision making towards the betterment of our dear country and continent. You're all welcome, and I'm pleased to have you here. I can see a whole lot of wonderful people. You're welcome, Abubakar Usman. Aziz, you're welcome. Of course, our wonderful guest, Giata, you're welcome. Molumide, I see you, and Umar, you're all welcome. Please, I would like you all to send the link. You can forward the link to your friends so they could join us, so we can have more people in this conversation. Thank you so much, everybody. And of course, as we kickstart, before I let our wonderful resource persons introduce themselves, I would like us to, you can drop your names on the chat box, put your name and where you're from, where you're connecting with us from, and of course, what you would like to learn, what would you like to learn from this webinar. So you can put it on the chat box so that we can also work with that. I see a whole lot of other incredible people joining us. You're welcome, Umar. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Of course, my name is Peace. Peace Nwachukwu is my name, and I'm a freelance reporter with ICCDI Africa. And I'm pleased to be here and, of course, moderating today's session. It's an honor. It's an honor being in the midst of wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you so much for this privilege. Thank you. Before we kickstart, I would like to use this medium to welcome our guests. We have Aziz Salau. You're welcome, Aziz. And of course, Aziz is the founder of Community Action for Food Security. You're welcome. Aziz, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning,
welcome.
everyone. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Good morning. You're welcome. We also have Giata Ugwa. Pardon me if I didn't get that correctly. You're welcome, Giata. You're welcome. Good morning. Of course, Giata is from Knowledge Management Group. Might not really be able to, let me say, explain or put in details what she does for the organization. But of course, she'll be coming us to tell us what she does for the organization and her role. And of course, we'll pick it up from there. Abubakar Usman, I might not know why you're raising up your hand, but just in case you would like to say anything, it would be better if you drop it in the chat box, or maybe when we have room for questions and contributions, you can come up. Right now, I would like to use this medium to welcome Aziz Salau. He's going to use 2 minutes to come up, tell us his name, his organization, and what he does for the organization. You're welcome, Aziz. Hello, Aziz. Are you there with us?
All right, thank you so much. Hello,
Okay.
everyone. My name is Aziz Salau. I am the founder and executive director at Community Action for Food Security Initiative. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sure we can.
All right, and what we do at Community Action for Food Security is to work with national and regional partners, identifying and evaluating different climate adaptation technologies to agricultural systems, the ones that are actually beneficiary to small-scale farmers. And we do this by, advocating for adoption of different technologies, climate smart technologies by small-scale farmers, and also helping them to improve access on this technology. And I will work with a lot of farmers in different parts of the country in Nigeria, especially women and young people. And we are also able to link them to a lot of local food producers, of course, with the ministry at the national and subnational level. And also we carry out different sustainable agricultural production practices. We also work around development of adaptation pathways plan that will help small-scale farmers to really adapt to the menace of climate change. And we are actually excited to be part of this deliberation, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much. Over.
Oh, thank you so much, Aziz. And of course, we're happy seeing you and having you here in our midst today. And we hope to really learn a lot and also take home one or two things. Giata Ugwa Ekele, you're welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Pardon me if I didn't call that name correctly.
It's okay.
Okay. Okay, you can go on. Tell us your name, your organization, and what to do for the organization.
Okay. My name is Giata Ugwa Ekele. I am a master's student in sustainable agriculture and food security at Newcastle University in the UK. I'm also the knowledge management and extension assistant for the Climate and Sustainable Development Network of Nigeria, CSDevNet in short. CSDevNet is an organization that is into climate advocacy, grassroots mobilization for sustainable development in Nigeria. And we seek to unify the work of isolated CBOs, community-based organizations across the country. So we have a membership of over 500 smaller NGOs with us that we work with in different communities into climate advocacy, pushing for policy, lobbying the government, and then empowering the grassroots communities as it regards climate change. Our conversation today is about COP27. It's worthy to know that CSDevNet has been is an accredited organization that has been observing COP for the past maybe like a decade. So we go to COP, we host pre-COPs before the COP. The pre-COPs, we discuss on what we want to talk about when we get to COP, the positions we want to attain, and then the goals we hope to achieve at COP. And then when we return from COP, we also host a post-COP in Nigeria where we discuss about the outcomes of each COP. So I'm glad to be here to talk about youth and COP27. And I look forward to a wonderful deliberation.
Thank you so much. It's an honor having you here. Thank you once again for joining us. And of course, today's topic, we're going to be talking about Nigerian youth, Nigerian youth aspiration for COP27 and beyond. Well, I'm happy that, this climate, this climate awareness has really drawn together a whole lot of youth, especially in Nigeria here. The turnout from youth, participations, activism, and all, it's really good seeing Nigerian youth take part in all these things. And of course, just as today's topic we have, we're looking at what should we expect from COP27? How can Nigerian youth participate come this COP27. And of course, that is why we have wonderful resource persons here who are going to be doing justice to that. And of course, after I want us, after maybe during the course of the conversation, you find any take home or any piece, you can jot it down somewhere or you can tweet about it. Of course, tag us on your Twitter handles. And of course, you can also drop some comments on the chat box that will also make it very interactive. And of course, yes, educative as well. So let's start with okay. I can see more people joining us. You're all welcome. Please, you can still put in your name on the chat box and yes, what you expect to learn or take home from this webinar. And of course, let's have Giata. Let's talk about youth participation during COP27. What do you think, or how do you think the youth can participate during this upcoming COP27?
How can youth participate in COP27? Usually, every COP have different pavilions. And this time, I think that there's a children and youth pavilion that was established. These are platforms where youth can have dialogues. Youth from all over the world can have dialogues, from the global south, from the global north, can have dialogues on climate issues. But my advice is that before any youth go to COP, ensure you build capacity. Know what COP is all about. Know the priority areas you want to engage in, and then understand the position the continent is taking to COP, the position your country is taking to COP, because every country have their own unique impacts that climate change has had on them. In Nigeria, we have floods. In the Horn of Africa, countries like Kenya, they have droughts, water scarcity. And then each country have their own priority areas that they would like to push for in COP. So before you go to COP as a youth, I would advise and expect you to build capacity and understand those areas. Right now, I'm in the CCDA, the 10th Conference for Climate Change and Development in Africa, in Namibia, and lots of meetings ongoing. Yesterday, one of the ministers for energy, the Namibian Minister for Energy, was speaking about the position that ministers for energy across Africa are taking. They're saying that the global north is pushing for just transition. Yes, we want just transition. We want to have more renewable energy in our sectors. But in Africa, we have a peculiar issue of energy poverty. What are we transiting from? We don't even have enough energy access, because right now, over 600 million persons in Africa do not have electricity. They don't have access to electricity, whether clean or dirty. So how can you tell such persons to transit? Transit from what? So they're saying that their position going to COP as energy ministers is to ask for more time to utilize the gas resources in Africa, because their statistics shows that if Africa can utilize all the gas resources they have, that the emissions that will be coming from Africa will just be around less than 5% of the global emissions. So nobody should restrict us from utilizing our gas resources for our own development. So before you go for all of these dialogues in COP, the main conference of the parties to the UNFCCC, you should be able to understand these positions and be able to push and advocate and be able to target organizations you want to be affiliated with. What kind of activities are they doing? Are they doing rallies? Are they doing what kind of activities is ongoing, and which of them would I be focused on? So this would just be my own advice to any youth going to come.
Okay, thank you so much, Giata, for that wonderful submission. Let's come over to you, Aziz. Let's talk about youth participation in COP27. Do you see them to be more active?
Yeah, I think of course a lot of young people are now getting involved, especially in different aspects that has to do with the conference of party, talking about different entities that actually surrounds that different issues, and it's getting more interesting. But then, like Jata has rightly said, we need to see how we can actually stay focused in different areas specifically. Like for us, we actually key in the issues around adaptation. And so different young people, different young organizations to actually see how they can actually key into different aspects. Your school could be loss and damage. Yours could be climate finance. It could be building partnerships. It could be climate change mitigation. So I think going forward, of course, young people are actually getting involved. But then going forward, there is need for us to be strategically for us to position ourselves strategically to actually get the desired results, and also get the desired stakeholders or desired partnership we're actually looking for or forward to. So it's actually very critical for us to ensure that we're actually, of course, like you rightly said, aligning to the country's position, and to see how we can actually enrich it even beyond COP. Because yeah, like we all know, everybody's actually not going to go to COP, and some of us, or some people that will actually find their ways down there, let us be strategic in our conversations, and let us make sure that it's aligning to the national discussion. And this would also make everything rich, and also make it sustainable. And it would also allow us to actually track the process, because a lot of COP has happened, but then it's still the same challenge for the countries in global south. The issue of the climate finance commitment, it's still hanging. So we are hoping that this year's COP will not be a talk COP, as it has usually been. Sorry to say that, but then it's come up with, of course, different solutions that will really help us. Because of course it is going to happen in Egypt. After spending 2 weeks in Egypt, we are all going to go back to our various countries to continue what we are doing. The good thing is that, yeah, as our this time last year, we are still clamoring for the government to actually approve the climate change bill. But this time around, okay, so it has been approved. We now have a national climate change commission, and now we are looking forward to a lot of implementations that is going to happen going forward. And this is why we all need to work together strategically with the government, with different partners, coming together to achieve a common purpose. And the common purpose for Nigeria, to start with, is achieving different climate finance that will really help us adapt to the menace of climate change. A lot of issues are around this, but then there's need for us to be specifically position ourselves and align it to what is happening at the national level to make it more sustainable. And of course, they are saying that it's an African Cup. We are hoping that yeah, it's going to be like that. It will not be just African Cup, just for that, but then it's going to be something really really strategic. We are seeing a lot of signs that are negative at the moment, but then we are hoping that it's going to really go fine, and we are going to really enjoy and feel the impact of this African Cup, we call it. Thank you. Over.
Oh, thank you so much, Aziz, for that submission. Thank you. And of course, talking about the government, there has been, you know, let's say there has been issues of government not involving the youth. There has been issues of inclusion and all. So let's talk about, in what way or how do you think government can include the youth in this action. Aziz, you would like to take that?
All right, so I think yesterday I was in Lagos. We're discussing, the role of young people in climate justice to go to COP27, and it's actually very simple, but then it's really hard on the other way. I think the only solution or the only way forward is to actually, like I used to say, when we talk about climate change, it has to do with like 6 to 7 ministries. The number one solution is to actually make sure that different ministries are actually accountable for their aspects as it really affects them. We're actually facing flooding in Nigeria, and the government or the president has actually directed the Ministry of Water Resources to work in conjunction with Ministry of Environment. Flooding, Ministry of Water Resources, is still climate change affecting us. You understand? So there's need for us to actually see how we can actually get hold of these ministries to work according to how it actually affects them. And it's going to be like a middle where everybody comes together to align this problem for a way forward and a solution to it. And this is where young people comes in, because if we actually have a very strong inclusion of young people in these different ministries, and of course, we have the Interministerial Committee on Climate Change, but then there's actually a gap because they are not willing to really work together hand in hand. So it's really a challenge. But then inclusion of young people, inclusion of CSOs, youth-led organizations would help us. Because, for example, if you have organizations, in different ministries that are actually making sure that, okay, we are having meetings, we're having dialogues, we are coming up with solutions, we're identifying the problems, and we are coming in middle to actually make sure that everybody, myself, for example, myself as a young person, engaging with Ministry of Agriculture and also other people engaging with other 5 ministries. It's going to really help us because I know the young person working with Ministry of Environment or working with the Ministry of Environment on this issue. And we can actually work together to make sure that we are putting these people on their toe and they are really doing what is actually meant to do, what they're actually meant to do. And this is going to be strategic and also going to be very sustainable because as young people, we're actually willing to hold them accountable and we are willing to measure progress, see how and where we are, and also identify the challenges and the loopholes to actually make this thing really work for us in Nigeria. With that, it's still going to be the challenge of it's going to be politically motivated. Of course, policy is actually very important in this, but then lobbying in strategic ways, engaging private sector and people that can really put in their investment to actually make this thing work. I think that's the solution. Inclusion of young people is strategic because it makes it sustainable. We are willing to follow up. We are willing to share the message online and get everybody aware about where we are and where we are actually planning to go. But then it's not happening. The different ministries are doing things in isolation, and of course we do a lot of fire brigade approach in Nigeria. But then when it comes to the issue of climate change, it will not work. Because what you see is we'll just do it, we'll launch, and that's going to be the end. But then there's need for us to have a follow-up mechanism. The implementation plan needs to be very solid. The M&E plan needs to be very solid. The funding aspects, we need to be very accountable. It's not when we have a challenge. Look at the flooding in Kogi and some other part of Nigeria. It happened like maybe 10 years ago. But then now when it happened this we have a lot of organizations asking questions from the government. Okay, we have the climate green bond and some other funding that Nigeria has been accessing for a while. It shouldn't be like that. So we should have open access to all this information and to see how we're actually working together collectively to achieve a common purpose. This will really help us in Nigeria and Africa at large. And like we all know, other countries are actually waiting for Nigeria to actually thrive because of course we argue with ourselves that Nigeria is not giant of Africa, but then the way they see Nigeria is the way we should actually see ourselves and also prepare ourselves because it would really help us strategically position ourselves going forward in COP negotiations and climate change issues. Thank you. Over.
Okay, thank you so much, Aziz. Thank you for that submission. And I can still see a whole lot of other wonderful people joining us. Please, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for coming on board. And of course, we're still on the edition of Nigerian Youth and Road to COP27. And today we're looking at Nigerian Youth Aspiration for COP27 and beyond. We're looking at what should Nigerian youth prioritize, what are what are their expectations, and of course how they can be included in this forthcoming COP27. Thank you, everybody. Steve, I see you. Richard, you're welcome. And of course, you can as well put your name on the chat box, including where you're joining us from and what you expect to take home from this webinar today. Thank you. Let's come over to you, Giata. Still talking about the government. I know you have played a wonderful role in, let me say, working with the youth very well. And of course, what I would like to ask that, what can you say regarding the government in aspects of including youth in activities that have to do with COP27 and of course, environmental activities as well? Do you think Nigerian youth are more active in that regard?
I would say that with these past few years, the participation and inclusion of youth in climate change policies, formulation, and implementation in Nigeria has been increasing, though it has not been increasing the way we want or at the rates expected, but at least there's a change going up. In the NDCs revised, the youths were included, and coming down
Sorry,
to all.
we can't see you. Can you turn on your camera, please?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I would also like you to add what the government can do. In what way can the government involve the youth in this activity?
The government have been including the youth, some proportions to the policy formulation. I was in a meeting, we're talking about the water resources bill and how that can be modified. What is wrong with the one that was passed and why is it going back and forth with the Nigerian Senate? So such kinds of meetings with the youth, talking about policies, how best it can be formulated, what are the gaps, what are the areas that needs to be strengthened, is key. The Nigerian government has been increasing this inclusion in the past few years. But generally in Nigeria, our problem is not with the policy formulation. It's in the implementation. No. How do we bring this paperwork to ground, to the community, to improve the livelihoods of people as it regards climate change, mitigation or adaptation, the technologies, the strategies that should be used. So moving forward, we expect the government to be more of policy implementation and to involve the youth in this course. The youth should be included in every project that should be carried out. Every given project, there should be a proportion given to the youth, not just the youth in general, but also gender. There should be a balance with the gender, yes, and probably the inclusion of people living with disabilities. So this should be kept in mind, and this is what we look forward to see working with the government as youth in this climate sector.
Okay, thank you so much, Giata, for that. Thank you. I can still see, yes, Richard Umar connecting from Mina, Niger State. You're welcome. Please, we still expect to see more people join us. You can, of course, send the link to your friends or maybe your social media followers so they can join in the conversation. Giata, of course, just looking at your submission so far, I can possibly say we should see you in the forthcoming COP27. Okay. So let's talk about your aspirations for Nigerian youth. What do you think we should look out for in this COP27? Of course, it's a period where decisions are going to be made, and considering the fact that it's going to be held in our continent, in our own land, Africa, it's not really an area where we should go out and be seeking for things that are not necessary. It should be an era where we should make direct demands. Let's seek for solutions and answers. So what do you think Nigerian youths should expect or prioritize the most in this forthcoming COP27?
Okay, I would start by talking briefly on the African position. We're looking at finance, climate finance. Where is the money that was promised? $100 billion was promised that will be given as regards climate change issues in Africa. So we want to see that. So I'm expecting youths to raise their voices everywhere. Don't stop talking as a youth. Tweet it, put it on Instagram, put it on LinkedIn, put it on Facebook. Demand, where is the money that was promised, the $100 billion for climate change? So that should be our first priority. Another is as regards just transition. We are peculiar as a continent. We are not looking at just transition as the global north. What are we transiting from? We already have energy poverty in the continent. So we should look at that and promote that advocacy for energy access, advocacy for strong energy governance, advocacy for industrialization to increase and improve as a motor or a drive to development in this continent and in Nigeria. So that is what I'm expecting. There's also some issues around loss and damage. Report shows that this year, 2022, the flood that was experienced in Nigeria is far beyond that was seen 10 years ago, 2012. 2012 had high records. Everybody was saying that was one of the highest flood rates that was recorded in Nigeria, but this year was more than that. So we are looking at loss and damage. People cannot adapt to flood. They cannot adapt to change of location, or they cannot adapt to fishes dying and all of that. So we want to push for loss and damage and reparations to that cause. Loss and damage is not climate adaptation, is not climate mitigation, is a reparation that should be, that it's a climate justice issue. We did not cause this climate change. We did not contribute much to the greenhouse gas emissions. So why are we the ones suffering most? Everybody knows that Africa is the continent that is most impacted by climate change. So I'm expecting the youths to push for this. And then depending on the area or the specialty of such youths, for instance, I'm into the food security sector and also climate journalism. So I would be talking more about climate smart technologies, technology transfers. When we talk about GMO in Nigeria, we are talking about how can we build a system to be able to have these biotechnological tools in the country. We don't want to be importing seeds that cannot grow well in our soils. So depending on the specialty of such youths, I'm expecting voices to be raised as youths. Don't stop talking. Don't stop talking online, physically. When you meet people, don't stop talking about our peculiarities. Don't stop talking about our needs, African needs. So is what I expect going to come.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, we will not stop talking. That is why we're here today. We'll keep talking everywhere and anywhere. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to mention that please, this section is supposed to be interactive. Please, if you have any contribution or any question, please, it's either you put it on the chat box so we can put it up to resource personnel, or you can signify so that when we come to the segment of questions and then contributions, we can bring you up. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's come over to you, Aziz. Are you still here with us? Hello,
Yes,
Aziz.
yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I understand that you deal more on food security, and I'll also like you to speak more in that regard concerning the forthcoming COP27. What do you think Nigerian youth should prioritize the most, or what do you think should be our aspiration as Nigerian youth in this forthcoming COP27?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think Jata has rightly mentioned almost everything, but then I would really speak so much on collaboration. As young people, there's need for us to actually work together. A lot of young people are actually working in isolation. And for instance, last year, uh, of course, we all find our way to COP one way or the other. And we're added to a WhatsApp group, Nigerian Youth at COP, and the engagement is still continuing there. So I actually want to see a more active or proactive group where we'll actually share information, idea with each other and see how we can actually work, collaboratively. Of course, because it's not everybody that would be really, work that can actually work directly with government. We have some young youth organizations like DevNet, we have like even ICCI working directly with government, which is really fine. But then there's need for us to actually for them to actually help other young people see how they can actually work because Ministry of Environment is not going to, undo everything. So and all young people are not working in the Ministry of Environment. So there is need for us to actually work together collaboratively with other ministries, working together to make sure that we're actually achieving all aspects that has to do with climate change. And she has rightly said it, the issue of loss and damage is there, adaptation, mitigation. This affects each and every one of us, differently. And there's need for us to, work or meet at the center to actually work together with because there really is nothing we can actually do with the government because of course we can push for policy reforms, but then it's still the government that is still going to do one or two things to make sure that it's being passed into the law. A lot of lobbying are being done and different interests are bound. So there's need for us to also see how we can actually push our interests because the effect of climate change is already affecting us. But then, how do we make sure that it's not going to affect our unborn generation? There are a lot of younger people that really don't know what we are even talking about. They just see rain falls, they see a lot of things happening, flooding doesn't affect them and all. But then, we need to get the conversation down to them so that everybody gets aware about this aside from attending COP or some other meetings. There's need for us to enrich our grassroots involvement, grassroots participation, and grassroots conversation around these issues affecting us. And of course, it's we young people that would really have to actually push this. But then we need enabling environment for us to actually thrive in this space and also make sure that other people's voice are being heard and it's not just the popular face we see around. There are a lot of people that actually want to get involved, but then they don't have they don't have capacity, the means, they don't have the information because everything has to do with information, and it is very very key for us to work together collectively, as one voice, and this would also really go a long way to help us achieve a lot of things we really want to achieve in terms of these positions that we are clamoring for because it affects everyone one way or the other. And that is why we need to act. And for me, there's no little action. All action counts, especially as we are looking at achieving the SDGs by 2030. we all need to work collectively to achieve a common purpose. Thank you. Over.
Okay, thank you so much, Aziz. Thank you. Before we come over to accepting contributions, Giata, when you were making a comment, submission the other time, you talked about climate smart technology. Can you throw more light on it? Because I love tech. I love anything that has to do with technology and advancement. And I'm sure other persons here will also like to know more about that. Can you, let's say, throw more light on that and also make us understand very well what you meant by climate smart technology? Yeah, climate smart technology. Thank you.
Okay, when we say climate smart technologies, we're talking about improvement of tech that has been designed to either mitigate climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions or help our adaptation, like becoming more resilient. So we have different kinds of climate smart technologies. The common the common is precision agriculture, where they use drones, and these drones go around the farm to map out. The drone do basically most of the work. The drone do the spraying of chemicals, and in this spraying of chemicals, the drone is able to detect the areas in the farm that need more chemical than the other. This can help reduce the waste of um, fertilizers, waste of pesticides that are used in agriculture. And when we talk about fertilizers and pesticides and all of that, it's related to nitrous oxide emissions and those kinds of chemicals to the environment that also leads to climate change. So another climate smart technology could be GMOs and um, smart crops. GMOs are genetically modified. A gene from another organism is put into another organism to make it have or exhibit a kind of trait that it does not have naturally. But besides GMOs, we have climate smart crops. These ones are not modified genetically, but have been improved by maybe plant breeding, improved for maybe drought resilience. They can have deep roots to grow in areas that have less water, and they will do fine. We have drought resilient rice varieties that are growing in Kenya and all of that, areas that are experiencing drought. We have resilient varieties of rice, of barley, of different kind of crops. So we have climate smart crops. We have there. I can't even list all of them. So these are the kinds of climate smart technologies we're talking about. We also have solar dryers. Um, when we talk about agriculture, it's not just about crops. We have animals. So we have aquaculture, so solar dryers for drying fish, or improved oven dryers for different kind of. These are technologies that help the environment and all of that.
Okay, thank you so much. At least now I know that um, I can get a drone and fly a drone that can actually um, disinfect all these crops and also map out lines in farming activities. There's this guy I do follow online. He has this, I don't know, I've forgotten what he calls himself, but he joined our Twitter space a few weeks ago. He said he's a flying farmer. When I checked his profile, it was really, to see what they can actually use these technologies to do. It's actually very interesting.
Yes.
I believe the fact that the youth are coming out to modernize all these things, and of course, it's very interesting. Let's look at we're still on the topic of youth aspirations, and let's talk about your organization. Like, let's look at in what way have you or do you intend to support the youth? Let's looking at the angle of inclusion. There's this thing that there's how do I put it? Okay, some youth find it difficult to rise up in aspects of talking about people in recycling, talking about people who are trying to make it a business, trying to make it up there. What opportunities are there for the youth in your organization? Let's take, for instance, maybe more youth who want to join your organization, or maybe they want to participate in this climate justice, they want to seek for justice. What are the opportunities in your organization for this youth?
Okay, we have numerous opportunities for youth in my organization. Before I talk about the opportunities present, let me just talk about what we've been doing in the past. For 10 years now, CS DevNet has worked with the youth. Right now, we even have a thematic area for youth and intergenerational equity, intergenerational equity. Yes. So this thematic area is designated for youth activities, youth organizations. Like I said, we have CS DevNet as a network. We have over 500 other NGOs that we work with and individuals. So we have individuals from academia. You're a professor, you like climate change, you write about climate change, you do climate change publications. Yes, you can be a part of the network. Academia, because we also do consultancy opportunities. So we have academia, we have students, young groups of environmental clubs coming around. It's a platform for anybody, no matter your skills, no matter your age, no matter what you read. You don't like I read botany, plant science before coming to CSDevNet, and that did not hinder me from being relevant in this climate space. You always have a space to work. So CS Development has been doing that recently from 2020, after the lockdown of COVID-19 and all of that impact in physical activities. CS DevNet, through the partnership of the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, because CS DevNet is the national platform for Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, that is PACJA. So they developed a young digital activism platform where young people come around. Young people were selected to push for climate advocacy online using social media, and then we had lots of webinars around climate change for over 2 years now, and this has been ongoing. So there's lots of platform. In the secretariat, we have over 75% or maybe over 80% of the secretariat staffs are youth, young people. So, and the network members, we have lots of youth organizations that we work with across Nigeria. We have vibrant youths. We have members like Break Free from Plastics, led by Ibrahim Shamsuddin. He's in Kaduna State doing a lot about plastic. We have EcoCycle Limited that we're working with. We have Aliyu Sadiq and the rest. These are youths that we're working with. So coming directly to your question, the question that you asked, you could come to CS DevNet and register. Registration is open to everybody. You can register as an organization if you have a youth organization, or you can register as an individual in the academia. We can help you build capacity on how to form your own group. If maybe you're a student in the university, you're in your first year and you love climate change, you love everything about climate change, and you would like to be a part of climate change, yes, you come to us, you register with us. We even help you build capacity on how to form an environmental group in your school and help you build activities like tree planting activities to mark World Environment Day, or other activities that you could do around climate change. So there are lots of opportunities like that. I hope I answered the question. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, I don't know. I logged off from my other mail.
Okay.
There's an issue. Yes, but you can hear me, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much. This network is really messing up. Okay, thank you so much, Giata, thank you. Let's look at the issue of what we should look out for in this forthcoming COP27. Aziz, you would like to take that?
Sorry, can you say that again?
What do you think we should look out for in this forthcoming COP27?
Well, I like I said the other time, we are saying it's going to be an African COP, but then of course we've been seeing some negative sign at the moment. There's a lot of increase in a lot of young people finding it challenging to actually book their flights. Actually, accommodation is an issue. I think young girl 2 weeks or a week back came out with a statement about the issue of Coca-Cola sponsoring the COP27, different issues. We are hoping that, of course, so I think for me and some young people attending COP, I think we shouldn't see it as distraction because, of course, it might want to pose as a distraction. We should really be focused on the issues we are actually taking to COP so that we can actually come back with something tangible and sustainable. Talking about the issues we are actually clamoring for, especially in terms of climate finance. We should not get distracted and we should, stick to what we're actually taking there so that we can actually come back with something cool for us. And we should also target how we are going to, implement a lot of things that's going to come out of COP27. COP28 next year is in Dubai. Of course, we should go there with solutions, and we should go there with positive outcome that is going to come out of, or that we are hoping to see come out of this COP27. So I think we should not be distracted. We should take a focus on what we're actually taking there, and we should see how we can actually forge a lot of partnership with other global countries, and also other people that are willing to, align with our thoughts, align with a lot of things we're actually bringing on board, because it will actually help us. And also, there's need for us to actually get more involved in terms of COP negotiations. Of course, the Ministry of Environment, I think, organized a workshop some weeks back, and there's need for us to actually see how we can, of course, get a lot of young people on board to actually get understanding around COP negotiations, the global stock take progress on Paris Agreement, of course, the issues around transparency, climate change, agriculture, Article 6, carbon pricing. All these issues are actually very, very strategic, and there's need for us to actually build capacity of young people in different aspects of all these negotiations. This will really help us going forward, because a lot of things are changing, and except when we don't want to change, it's still going to be the same thing if we are not taking proactive measures, proactive steps to see how we can actually really get involved deeply, and also see how we can, start transforming or translating all these things, to ways that a lot of people that even don't have not heard it before can easily assimilate for better understanding and also better approach going forward. Thank you so much. Over.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me? I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Messing me up. Thank you. Thank you so much, Giata, for joining us today. I really do appreciate, and for the wonderful submissions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know something came up, and then of course, thank you so much for being with us. We'll be rounding up shortly, but before we round up, does anybody have any contribution to make or any question? Okay, Umar, you can go on now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Peace and ICCDI, for organizing this wonderful interaction. I have like 2 to 3 comments or questions that I've reserved during the course of the conversation. It's good to learn that theater, as you made mention earlier, that
Can you hear me?
hello, I can hear you.
Okay, I can barely hear you. I can see that you're now the host. I don't know if you can accept a request. I sent in a request. Maybe that can bring me in. But you can go on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, you can go on now.
Yes, sir. Like I was saying that it's good to know that GIATA and the organizations you work for is really giving space for academics to join in the climate action. So let me introduce myself, sorry. I'm Umar Farooq Ahmad, a research fellow at the Center for Renewable Energy Research here in Bayero University, Kano. I currently carry out research in the field of nuclear science and engineering to develop clean energy materials for future energy generation. So previously I volunteered with ICCDI as Kano State Coordinator, where we took the SDGs to Kano University of Technology, Science and Technology, Wudil and FCE's area. So it seems like during my time volunteering, I had been much more involved in climate action and climate advocacy rather than now. So I realized that when I moved to academia in 2020, suddenly all the opportunities like shut down. You hardly access any key opportunity to do climate advocacy. So, but now Giata told us that she can, CS DevNet has a room for that, for academics to join in. Because recently I was afraid that, okay, as academics, why even the government don't involve people from academia in climate action, in climate policy, and everything like that. So I was like, okay, is it my fault? Maybe that maybe I too much concentrated on working towards my research, and not going back to where I came from. But suddenly I realized that there is no place for us sometimes. You knock on the government, try to get data, you get access, you call people that you need data. Just recently, I think I had to contact Ministry of Environment to get the list of non-governmental organizations that attend the previous COPs. Up till today, I couldn't get it. They asked me to write letters, this. But maybe someone from an NGO might be able to access this data easily. Meanwhile, coming from academia is making life hard for me. That's one. Two, as regards to CPOP 27, I just read an article by Habiba Dagash regarding the COP 27 that Africans shouldn't concentrate more on getting financing from rich countries, although it's obvious that rich countries should pay for polluting the environment, but there are no saviors out there, like she said. Why not let us concentrate more on what we can do at home than even begging for financing? We know that, we can develop this technology, but without financing, we cannot boost them. We cannot boost it out for commercial production. But at least let's have something to debate on so that we can take the COP, not just go verbally and be saying, okay, we need financing. Nobody, I think, can say, okay, I'll give you finance without seeing what product have you bring. And the third and final issue, as a nuclear advocate, because I'm a nuclear physicist, I see nuclear as the future. Why? Because nuclear energy, the essence of discarding fossil fuels first should come, okay, after what? Should be when you have fossil fuels phase out, there should be a replacement which will provide clean energy at the same time boost economic growth. So I don't think solar energy might be able to do that, or other renewables. I think Africa should look towards that way. You can see that Abu Dhabi is hosting the biggest solar power plant and also is housing at the same time 3 nuclear power plant units, and they are running safely and smoothly. Even Germany with the Ukraine-Russia, I'm afraid whether Ukraine-Russia scenario will just dominate the COP27. However, Africans need to make sure that these negotiations or these things are going to be of benefit, not just go for financing, but go with something tangible. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Omar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know if anybody else has any contribution. I think we're left with 3%, and that brings us to the end of today's webinar. I really most appreciate everybody and for our guests that left. Thank you to everybody who joined us today. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Aziz, once again for being here with us today. I don't know if you have any final words to the youth or anything you would like to say to the youth before we round up as regarding the forthcoming COP27.
We still have a little time by next week, of course, because there is COI. By next week, everybody is looking, towards getting or finding their way down to Egypt. But then there's need for us to be our brother's keeper. There's still a lot of people having challenges, especially with accommodation. Let's see how we can actually work together to assist each other, and also let's see how we can actually, of course, get everybody informed or involved, or people that are already involved. Of course, they are lacking in one way or the other. Let's see how we can actually work together. And also to Umar's contribution, thank you so much. I think I don't think all the opportunities actually left. I think there's need for you to align with other academic doing research, of course, and development. So I think there's need for us to find your way around research and development. There's a lot of people from your school, a lot of professors are actually doing, they're actually thriving in development space. There's need for you to actually align with them to see how you can actually also get involved, because I think that's the only way to actually get it, because we need research, and a lot of funding are actually going for research. Of course, we are clamoring for more, but then as a young person, for example, at CAPS, we are looking at how to actually get different people doing different things around food systems, around the value chain, around, of course, climate change inclusive. So if you could actually, come up with different people or a lot of people that are doing the same thing you are doing as young people, we could actually, if we have, if there are any opportunity, it's easy for us to, okay, yeah, we have someone doing research, a young person that is willing to do it, and of course we could easily refer, and that is how it works. So let's see how we can actually continue to engage each other and see how we can, because everybody, when it comes to climate change, a lot of things are involved, and there's need for us to actually get different people doing different things that would help us collaborate to achieve a common purpose. So like my own area is different, yours is different, but if we're able to work collectively, we'll achieve a very a good common purpose, and to be sustainable for all. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to more engagement with the team. Thank you. Over.
Okay, thank you so much, Aziz. I would like to use this, in rounding up, to appreciate every one of you for making it a date here with us today. And of course, we do this every last Thursday of every month, next month. Thank you. Very round up from here. Host button, but I can see that Umar is our host. Maybe you can help us to end the space. Yes.